So get this, a former president's university diploma is actually on trial. But, this is about so much more than just a piece of paper. It's a high-stakes legal battle that has totally captivated a nation. And at the very heart of it all, a single public promise.
So the real question we're diving into isn't just about a document. It's about accountability, right? It's about the power of a citizen-led lawsuit and what happens when a former leader makes a very direct, very public promise to face his accusers in a court of law.
And believe me, this case has absolutely captured the public's imagination. I mean, to give you a sense of the passion here, some folks who support the lawsuit actually cycled 180 kilometers just to be at the courthouse. That tells you this is way more than just a legal dispute for a lot of people.
All right, so let's get to the core of it. All of this intense public focus really comes down to one specific pledge, a promise that has put this trial directly in the national spotlight.
Okay, this right here, this is the statement that changed everything. After a hearing got postponed, Jokowi himself went public with this. He promised to show up and bring all his diplomas. We're talking from elementary school all the way through his university degree. And with that one statement, the pressure was really on for him to appear in court, in person.
But here's something you might be wondering. Several other lawsuits about this very same issue have totally failed. So why is this one actually succeeding? Why is it moving forward? Well, the answer lies in a really specific and frankly pretty clever legal strategy.
Well, here's the brilliant part. All the previous attempts, they were standard civil lawsuits, and they were demanding huge amounts of money and damages. The courts just threw them out, saying they didn't have the jurisdiction. But this time, the plaintiffs used a totally different legal tool, a citizen lawsuit. And that flips the whole script. It's not about personal gain anymore, it's all about the public interest.
And this idea of a citizen lawsuit is, well, it's a pretty fascinating legal tool. It gives regular people the power to hold officials accountable, not for some personal harm, but for failing to do their public duties. It's a sign of a maturing democracy, really. The goal isn't a payout. The goal is accountability.
And here's where the legal genius really comes in. There isn't actually a specific law on the books in Indonesia for these citizen lawsuits. So instead, the courts rely on what's called jurisprudence, basically precedents that were set by judges in past cases. A totally separate, successful lawsuit about air pollution in Jakarta actually paved the way and created the legal path for this case to even be heard.
Okay, so with that legal groundwork all set, let's jump into the courtroom and see how this thing has actually been playing out.
The court proceedings have been moving along very carefully. In late December, the plaintiffs handed over their evidence, though the judge did ask for some corrections. Now, all that careful legal work is building up to one single, highly anticipated date, January 6th. That's when the defense finally gets its turn.
And you've got to understand, this isn't just one person suing another. The lawsuit names a whole list of defendants, including the rector of Jokowi's university and even the national police. And to top it off, the case is being overseen by the head of the court himself, Judge Ahmad Satibi, which really tells you how high-profile this is.
Which brings us right to the main event, that critical upcoming date. January 6th is shaping up to be a real moment of truth, and you can bet all eyes are going to be on the former president's next move.
So Jokowi is at a fork in the road, right? He has two very different paths he can take, and each one comes with some major political consequences. Path 1, he attends personally, keeps his promise, and maybe, just maybe, ends this whole controversy. Path 2, he exercises his legal right to just send his lawyers, which would almost certainly drag out the public debate even longer.
And as if that wasn't enough, there's another little twist in the story. The diploma itself, well, it's currently in police custody as evidence in a completely separate defamation case. What that means is, for Jokowi to even present it, his legal team has to go through the formal process of borrowing the key piece of evidence from the police just to bring it to this trial.
So, okay, let's take a step back. Beyond all the courtroom drama and the fate of one single diploma, why has this trial become such a landmark event? Well, it's because it's become a kind of litmus test for some really fundamental principles in Indonesia.
You see, this is way bigger than just figuring out if a document is real or not. This whole thing is a public examination of the nation's entire legal system. It's asking, can a citizen-led lawsuit really hold power to account? Is the judiciary impartial? And does that core principle that no one is above the law really hold true, even for a former president?
So as that January 6th hearing gets closer and closer, the real question we're left with is this. Is this case truly about authenticating a single diploma, or is it actually about authenticating the strength and fairness of an entire nation's legal system? What is truly on trial here?